You're watching Steve TV. It's me and Julie. It's early Sunday morning and we're just going for a little walk through the park. Bum crack. Little walk through the park. You can hear the parrots. And we're on our way to the Victoria Market. And then ultimately the Neighbours tour.
Yeah! I'm so excited.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
She follows me everywhere and I keep on walking into things. Anyway. Haven't heard the magpie this morning. There's a baby magpie here that goes... I can't even do it. I think reckon that's him up there that just flew into that tree.
No, it's one of those
dove things.
Yeah.
Get a lot of feral pigeons in this park too.
There's all noodles for $1.54 a packet.
So Julie, what do you think of your noodles?
Not very nice.
They came from there.
Yeah.
We're sitting here.
The Bland is a bastard.
The Dorothy Bland Chinese Cafe. So it wasn't very nice then.
Bland. I had to ask her to put an onion in it.
I bought myself a new Australia bag, which I'm very pleased with, because my other bag broke. And we've got a caricature, which I won't show you now. And we're sitting here at the Victoria Markets. We're about to go for a Neighbours tour, so I thought I'd just pop in and let you know what's going on.
I'm just very hungry.
Ravenous. So here we are. We've got to the Neighbours thing. What they told us on the phone
It was bullshit.
is bullshit.
They lied.
They lied. And here comes our Neighbours bus.
It might not be.
We've already paid, so we can't get out of it now.
I could have.
Anyway, not to worry. I'm impressed overall.
You know we're gonna sing. No, we're not. Everybody shut up, alright? What you'll find is that Neighbours is a bit strange. I'm gonna explain a few things. First of all, I'm gonna explain about that G rating. I was talking about having children on board and ensuring that they don't get traumatized. Well, hard luck. I'm gonna get naked later. Okay? The real traumatizing thing is this. On Neighbours, there has been violence, yes, there has been car crashes, yes, there has been shootings, yes, there has been plane crashes, but you will never ever see anybody's head hanging off. You will never see them riddled with 22 bullets. Every time they are shot, there is one shot, one bullet, one wound. Does everybody understand that? Yes? Do you also understand that basically, like, you know, people like Paul Robinson who are in plane crashes, almost drown and everything else, but they still survive? And it ends up that there's a young man called Dr. Carl who stands over the top of their bed and he says, "See, when you were asleep, I was touching you." Okay? And believe it or not, he actually has touched every single person in the street at least twice, alright? The thing that freaks people out, guys, the most is the fact, does everybody realise that the hospital and the hospital bed is inside a studio? And do you realise that there actually is only one hospital bed? But the funny thing that I laugh about, guys, is the hospital bed has a big hole in it. Do you know why? Paul Robinson can put his leg through and it makes him look like he's got a stump. Okay? See, whenever I was in the studio about 3.5 years, I could not stop myself, nearly wet myself, people, right? They have got one bed and they use the same one with the hole in it for about the last 5 or 6 years. Okay? Do you realise that whenever they are in, like, the psychology room, like, you know, where the psychiatrist is talking to Michael Williams, it's the same room as what they were in whenever, like, Jim Dolan was dying? What I'm trying to say to you people is they changed the sign on the front door from being psychiatrist to emergency. Okay? Do you understand? Yes? It's all very, very effective, right? The other thing that you'll notice, guys, is that on Neighbours, there has been, like, you know, as I said, people getting blown up or whatever, like here when there's explosions, like who remembers when Lou's place was blown up? When Paul Robinson came back and burnt down Lassiter's in the coffee shop, yes? Have you seen Max Hoyland getting blown up? Oh, it was so funny, wasn't it, people? Anybody remember when Tony and Dee got married and then Dee went flying over the edge of a cliff? Hands up who started laughing, come on, with the flying car. Yes, this is what happens, right? You will understand, guys, that there's loads of things that they're not supposed to be humorous, but we still find them funny, alright? Even this, guys. Does everybody understand that, yes, people have got pregnant, as explained a little bit about Bridget and about Steph getting pregnant because she was sleeping on her best friend's husband? Evil woman, alright? But do you also realise this is the third and most important thing, guys? When it comes to Neighbours being their G rating, abusive language will not be tolerated. Does everybody understand that a youngster, so our 9-year-old is allowed to turn around and call her mother an idiot, but the mother is not allowed to call the 9-year-old an idiot? That's the rules, alright? Because that's how it works. This is all the thing, guys. Apparently as well, to stop, having too many topics which they can't delve too far into. Does everybody understand that Dr. Carl took a sleeping potion and then slept with Izzy thinking that it was Susan, and Susan actually forgave him? Party at Detective Brennan came and talked to the children and said, kids, please stay away from drugs. They don't actually mention what drugs to stay away from, so all the kids who were teething started crying and all like here because they were staying away from their drugs, alright? They have to be very careful. They can't actually name a drug. Or even worse, guys, imagine telling a kid how to administer the drug by saying, oh, don't smoke that marijuana. You've just told them what to do when they find their daddy's stash, alright? So what it is, guys, is they have to be very, very careful about how they actually show the show. Does everybody understand that Home and Away is PG and can show you big bags of grass? Yeah? Yeah, I can kill 12 people at the same time in a big container, right? I can have people getting shot up with needles and all this other stuff. It's horrifying, alright? But that's what it's all about. It's because of the ratings. Now, I know we've got somebody who's under the age of 27. That's our 9-year-old. But is there anybody else here on board under the age of 27? You can lie if you want. Come on, put your hand up there. Come on, people. Congratulations. Where are you? Show me. Hands all the way up. If you're male, put your hands down. I'm just looking for young girls. 1, 2, 3. Good odds. We're doing all right. Now, congratulations, guys. You're younger than Neighbours. Woohoo! Right? In case you didn't realise, last month, yes, in March, on the 18th of March, Neighbours just celebrated 27 years on TV. On the 18th of March 1985, Neighbours began here in Australia. And the strange thing is that when Neighbours did begin in Australia, does everybody understand that Neighbours started on Channel 7? Now, have we got any Aussies? Could you please tell everybody else what else is on Channel 7 that we're not supposed to talk about? Yes, okay, now that's the last time we're going to mention those words, and the next person to say it will get the bus reversed over their head twice, okay? Everybody agrees? Who's going to say it? Come on, push your luck, children. This is it. I can even drive closer to this wall, get your head out the window, and hope that you don't hit any of the boxes on the side, okay? What you will find, guys, is there's massive rivalry between Network 7 and Network 10, which then took on Neighbours. And absolutely no rivalry between the actors, because half of the actors on Neighbours used to be on Home and Away. And half of the actors on Home and Away used to be on Neighbours. And there's some actors who have been on Neighbours, went to Home and Away, and then came back to Neighbours, because there's only 179 actors in Australia. And I've met 172 of them. The only person I've never met is Rebecca Gibney, okay? Because she's never been on either. Alright? This is how mad it is, guys. There is limited actors in Australia, and it's not like sort of a joke or anything. It is because basically most of them go to America, where they used to go to the UK to be on the bill, but then they don't make the bill anymore, so now they're all screwed. Okay, people? You understand? They have to go to America. That's where the money is. That's it. Lots of them. Or even worse, guys, they stay here and be in another show called Winners and Losers. Has anybody been watching that? You'll realise that Dylan Timmins, Stu Parker, Janelle Timmins, Cindy, Dee, Detective Brennan, even the fake Libby. Who remembers when there was a fake Libby? Yes! No, we called the fake Libby Phoebe, right? And the best episode of Neighbours ever has to be when Phoebe fell into the water during the kayaking accident, but the real Libby was pulled out of the water like a born-again Christian. Anybody remember that? Yeah. Like Dr. Carl was like a preacher man. Hallelujah! Yes, there is hope for us all. Does everybody understand that that is when I realised Neighbours mightn't be real? Okay. How can you have somebody else pretend to be Libby? Oh, well. Right. Now, the other thing is, guys, like here, as I said, Channel 7 started with Neighbours. It was a Grundy production. Anybody ever heard of Reg Grundy? Yes, he's sort of well famous. Now, do you realise that Reg Grundy was the money behind the production? And when he came up with Neighbours, he did, of course, work with Channel 7. Channel 7 scrapped the show after 170 episodes. Do you realise now that, guys, it is still seen as one of the most, how do you say this, stupidest thing to do in TV ever? To scrap a show like Neighbours, which, as I said, has gone on for its longevity. But the thing that sort of happened, guys, is that Neighbours was scrapped after 170 episodes because it didn't rate well in Sydney. Now, I'm going to inform you guys that when Neighbours began, it was PG. And when it began, it started everywhere else around Australia at 7 o'clock at night. But in Sydney, they decided to put it on at 5:30 because there was another show on at 7 o'clock that was already running. Now, the thing is, guys, and if anybody has travelled around Australia, which I have, nobody in Sydney has finished work by 5:30 at all, okay? In fact, you're lucky if they're home by 7, alright? So basically what happened is, because the head office of Channel 7 was in Sydney, they scrapped the show all over. Now, Mr. Grundy did not give up. He went to Channel 10 and said, do you want to buy my show? But this is the weird thing, Channel 10 only bought Neighbours on the proviso that Channel 10, or that Neighbours sacked the guy who played Scott Robinson. And they actually sacked Darius Perkins and brought in Jason Donovan. Anybody remember him? Yeah. Do you realise that Jason Donovan would not have even been in the show if they didn't sack Darius Perkins, who got done for drink driving? And then they brought in Jason Donovan. Have they got any idea what he's been up to, for God's sake? And they're worried about drink driving? Oh dear, right. Now the next thing that happened, guys, is of course they did bring in my favourite character ever. Very first episode on Channel 10, they brought in a young lady called Madge Ramsey. Come on, who remembers Madge? Yes, like a mother to us all, am I right? Our 9-year-old doesn't. Put it like this. Your mum ate your dinner in front of her about 500 times before you were born, okay? And that's no lie, isn't that right, Mum? Yes? Now hands up who can say that they honestly ate their dinner in front of Madge about 1,000 times. I can go for it like it is. That woman was like a mother to us all. Do you also realise, guys, that a few episodes later, she brought in her daughter, Charlene Edna Mitchell, a.k.a. Everybody knows Sexy Bum. And that is when Neighbours went nuts. Do you realise that if they didn't bring in Jason Donovan, guys, there wouldn't have been any especially for you, and school discos would have been really crap, okay? And I wouldn't have had that first kiss with Christy Burnham when I was 9, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying, people? Priorities here. Alright, now this is how mad it is, guys. Of course, Neighbours did start going a bit nuts, because Kylie and Jason had this youthful intrigue that a lot of young people wanted to watch the show, because they could relate to these school kids like Mike Young, who remembers Guy Pearce, Emmy Award winner? Yes. And you remember Plain Jane Superman? Annie Jones, oh yes. And they brought all these people in, and people thought they were lovely. But do you realise that when Neighbours did start going overseas, Michael Grade, who was the programming manager of the BBC, brought Neighbours to the UK, and do you know why he brought it? Because apparently the housewives of the UK had nothing to watch during the day. Now that is how sexist he was, because those were his words. Housewives have nothing to watch during the day. Apparently